Mello. Here. Representative Norton. Representative O'Brien. Representative Delangio. Representative Price.
Here.
Representative Reaganberg. Representative Slater. Representative Tuba. Here. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. First meeting of the year for the House Environment and Natural Resources Committee. We have two bills on our agenda tonight. One actually is one that passed last year but did not make the crossover successfully by Representative Morin, and the other by Representative Azzinaro. So let's just start with Representative Morin, because I know he has somebody here that's going to need to speak as well. So this is 7084 by Representative Morin. Excuse me, yes. And while you guys are sitting down, I'd entertain a motion to hold 7084 and 7111 for further study. That's moved by Representative Mello, seconded by Representative Marcello. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those bills are held for further study.
Chairman, may I be marked present and in the affirmative on that vote, please?
And again, for the committee, Rep. Philippi and Representative O'Brien would both like to be recorded present and in the affirmative. Representative Morin, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman, or good evening, rather, and members of the committee. As you said, this is the same bill I had put in last year. It passed the House, and there was some problems at the end of the session where, anyways, we're back here. I just want to say that I have the full support of Representative Casey, Representative Phillips, and as also Minority Leader, Leader Newberry on this. It's the Woonsocket bill, and I'm going to defer all questions to my witness, Michael DeBrois. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Representative Morin? Thank you very much. Again, Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Is it Du Bois? Okay, sorry, I was just mispronouncing. I think you're wrong. Thank you. Please.
We took this through last year. We testified with the Bank Resource Recovery, also testifying on behalf of this bill to help us put this together. And unfortunately, it didn't make it over to the Senate side. It is being introduced over to the Senate side today. This would allow municipalities to have an emergency transfer station. We're still going through DEM to secure needed approval for it, but not necessarily a permit to do it normally used for a transfer station, and no associated fees. So City of Woonsocket ran into a problem last year with a local transfer station that we use in North Smithfield, where it had buckled under the 6.5 feet of snow that we had last year, and we ended up having to have an emergency situation where we needed to get rid of a lot of trash in the city and did not have the means to do so. We approached DEM, and they notified us that there was nothing in the state law that allowed us to do it, which is why we presented the law.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you. Oh, sure. And let the record show that Representative Bennett is here and would like to be recorded in the affirmative on the vote to hold for further study. So again, any questions for Mr.
DeBrois? It's okay.
I don't know why I'm having trouble with that one, but what's that? Iron Man. Yes, Woonsocket Iron Man. So we did get a letter from DM with some concerns. It's not in opposition, but some concerns, just again reminding us too that some of the notifications and things like that that are normally required for permanent facilities, they don't say that, but that's my impression, are bypassed in that process. So I just want to make sure we're remembering that. But again, I think we dealt with those concerns with the legislation last year. Again, any questions? Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes the hearing on 7084. We'll move on to Representative Azzinaro's, I don't know why I did that, 7111. And Henry, if you want to come up, since you're the only person signed up on that one. Sure. Yeah, why don't you come up as well? Henry Bonneger on his own behalf, not anyone else's. Representative Azzinaro.
Thank you, members of this fine committee, for hearing my bill. It was at the request of my town council and from 4 different entities in town: the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, Save the Bay, Roger Williams Park Zoo, North Kingston Chamber of Commerce. I'll just read the first paragraph in the letter that I received, which caused me to put this bill in. which states most states have an official state animal and a state marine mammal. Rhode Island presently does not. We would like to change that. Our Chamber of Commerce is building an alliance of supporters to have the harbor seal designated as Rhode Island's official marine mammal. And I did name the groups that sent me that request. It's like everything else that we have in the state of Rhode Island. We have a bird, we have a beetle, a bug. I guess last year we did a bug. 2 years ago, last year we did the calamari. I think it's just appropriate. I think a lot of people get a lot of enjoyment going out on Narragansett Bay and watching the harbor seals lay around on their rocks or swim around in the waters of Narragansett Bay. So why not have the harbor seal as the state's mammal?
And you'd said it wasn't just Westerly that sent you a resolution. There was another town, I think, that sent you a resolution as well, right?
Well, it was the town council in Westerly that sent a resolution.
I thought you also said like in
Well, there was Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, along with Save the Bay, Roger Williams Park Zoo, and North Kingston Chamber of Commerce.
Kingston, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very charismatic animal. And, yeah.
A little bit of information here I got pulled off of the internet about harbor seals. All factual stuff. It tells, where they migrate from. They're all over the world, I guess, but we're talking about the ones that settle in Rhode Island.
Yeah, and they're obviously the most visible one here in our state, I would say, that we're going to likely see in terms of marine mammals.
Right.
And any questions for Representative Azzinaro? Representative Bennett.
Thank you. There was a question on whether a harbor seal, is it one seal, type of seal species, or does it apply to anything that comes into a harbor, like, a hop seal or whatever the circumstance may be?
Well,
there's a drafting issue on what qualifies a seal as a harbor seal.
Well, I think it's going to be the seals that enter into our harbor.
But I mean, it's not a specific species.
There are a number of them. From what I can gather off of this information, for instance, what they say, harbor seals are brown, tan, or gray, with a distinctive V-shaped nostril. An adult can attain a length of 1.85 meters, 6'1", and mass 290 pounds. They live about 30 to 35 years. Females live that long.
And Rep, at least what I've been able to find, it does seem like it's a single species along the way. So it does seem like that's going to address. It's also called the common seal, but I like harbor seal. I think it's a much more attractive name along the way.
There are some subspecies of these particular mammals, but the ones that I can there's some. Let's see. North America, harbor seals in North America. They're out on the Pacific coast, but then we talk about the ones that come down from Maine all the way down to New York that are in our area. So there might be different colors, but
they're still, well, just like we all have different,
I'm sure
we're all people still along the way.
Right. I think if we were all out bathing on the rocks, that they would say these are our harbor people from the Environmental Committee.
It's the Westerly folks along the way. Representative Morin, I believe, has a question as well.
Thank you, Chairman. Representative Azzinaro, do you know how many different unique mammals or species of marine they studied before they came up with this one to be the representative?
I don't think they gave me that information. Well, let me read a little bit, if you indulge. A report from the Rhode Island Ocean Special Area Management Plan showed that 36 species of marine mammals had been recorded in our estuarine and marine waters, and a few others were possibilities. The report cited, despite what might seem to be surprisingly high diversity of species, only one of those species can truly be called a resident in Rhode Island, the harbor seal. That's pretty much all I can give you.
And the Mystic Aquarium, obviously, staffed by a lot of experts. They're also very much they're enthusiastic because they're just across the line from Rep. Azzinaro, just across the state line there along the way. And they're at least the only ones I know of that I've been able to see here in the state. I do know occasionally folks have seen dolphins off the coast or things like that, but and occasionally we'll get those random whales, small whales that come up the bay, but they're quite random in that sense along the way. And any other questions for Rep. Azzinaro? Rep. Philippi.
I think it's a great bill. One of the few tourism draws for Block Island in the wintertime is our seal population. So I want to thank Rep. Azzinaro for recognizing the contribution of the harbor seal to our winter tourism. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think Save the Bay's here tonight. No other witnesses right now. Rep. McNamara?
Yes, Representative Azzinaro, I know you mentioned Save the Bay. Several years ago, I went out on the seal watch, and not only, I think, is it a great mammal that represent Rhode Island, but they're very entertaining. They lay on their backs, they eat and have their flippers in front of them, they'll hold shells. When you go out on that Save the Bay seal watch, it's quite amusing. It's not like just watching animals that just sit and lay around. They're active, they're very interactive with each other, and it's a nice way to spend the afternoon. So I think it's really, I commend you for this legislation, and I think it goes very nicely with our official state appetizer, calamari. Not that I'm saying anything about, seals as a meal. It's not like the new, meat or anything. I don't think that's legal. But, congratulations, great bill. And I'm wondering if we could get them a little bit farther up the bay into the Providence River, probably as it cleans up. If a biologist was here, I would, ask them if he or she thinks they will be migrating up, because I know I'd love to have more seals in my district. Thanks.
Thank you.
Chairman, just one more thing I'd like to present to you. And you can get, if you want, make copies of this.
I think if you want to give us that, we'll make a copy.
There's one paragraph I'll read to you from Stephen Cohn, the PhD president and CEO of the Mystic Aquarium. It says this is to Lisa. Dear, thank you for your note. We would like to join you in this effort. More than having harbor seals in our collection, we are the official agency for rescuing and rehabilitation seals along Rhode Island coastline, and have a network of some 200 volunteers who serve as spotters of harbor seals and other mammals that might be in trouble, triggering our response. This represents a mission commitment of approximately $200,000 a year annually. So,
wow. So thank you very much, Representative. Mr. Bonaker.
When he mentioned about the tourism, I think if any of you have ever gone to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, they're quite an attraction down there that draw tons of tourists to watch them. They are comical to watch, Representative McNamara. I know a lot of people ribbed you a little bit when you put your bill in. I thought it was a good bill. And the ribbing's over, and now we have a good piece of legislation that is named the calamari. So I basically wanted to say that we're from the ocean state. We have 435 miles of ocean. We're promoting tourism, and I'd like to support that piece of legislation, and I give it my seal of approval.
Thank you. And for folks that don't know, again, Mr. Bonaker is a former state representative from down in Westerly as well, and I think knows well a lot of the needs. A lot of times it's small things that help us with our economic development. And I do think that Rep. McNamara's calamari one, I even think that the beetle bill that folks were somewhat critical of also is something that helps to bring that attention. And I definitely think Rep. Azzinaro, this also has it. That's why the Chamber of Commerce obviously was in support. Any other further questions for these two? Thank you very much, gentlemen. That concludes the hearing on 711. And that's the last bill of the night. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, and we'll see everybody soon.
Yeah.